Shout out to Kop-Ish.
Shout out to Kopish, guys.
All the good work
the
up.
two legends, Emil Heskey, Howard Gill. Can't get much better than that guy. Yeah. You know what to do now. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm with legends, guys.
Kop-Ish.
Hello, lovely people. Back again. This time it is Manchester City versus Liverpool Football Club for the third time this season. This time in the FA Cup semi-final at Anfield South, aka Wembley. Matt Drift, this is a big one. How we feeling?
First of all, for everyone who's just watching the calling show, guess who's back? Back again. Big up to everyone who's jumping back in. No, but yeah, I'm blessed, man. Nervy, excited, apprehensive, anxious. What other words do you lot want for trepidation? There's a whole load of emotions I'm going through, bro, to be honest.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, do you know what it is? It's one of the things where Man City won't go away. They're never gonna go away. They're that team that's always gonna be pushing us. You know what I mean? They're right up there, and you know what? Every great team needs a great rival, and we are each other's great rival in this era of football right now. So I expect nothing less from Man City other than even if they got injuries like how it looks like they have, they'll give us one hell of a game. But you want to know something? I don't fear them. I respect them. I just don't fear them. They're a great team. We're a great team. But I think we can beat them on Saturday.
I never fear them, bro. I'm scared of the actual loss itself, if that makes sense. So I'm not actually scared of Man City.
Don't be scared.
I'm worried about that. No, because the loss has implications beyond.
Of course it.
Do you get what I mean? So that feeling I don't want is what my fear is. Not the team itself. It's that feeling of, is it over? Or I can't believe we're out. Or, you know, that like I don't want that feeling. That's the feeling that I'm scared of, not the opposition.
I hear that.
I'm intrigued by the game. I'm looking forward to it. Now, don't usually do this, but I'm going to start with Man City. It looks as though Kevin De Bruyne and Walker are going to be out of this game.
De Bruyne won't be out, Cal. De Bruyne won't be out.
Those are the rumours.
They're playing possum with us, bro. Trust me, they're playing possum.
Those are the rumours. Those are the rumours. We can only take on the rumours as things stand right now until we see the starting lineup. If De Bruyne and Walker aren't playing, one, does it give us an advantage? But two, does it make you guys change your mindset on who starts this game? Matt, I'll come to you first.
If De Bruyne's not playing, in fact, I'm gonna be quite frank actually. If De Bruyne plays or he doesn't play, I want us to go this midfield: Fabinho, Thiago, Naby Keita. The reason why I said that midfield is because De Bruyne in the last game, maybe being at Etihad, had kind of a license to kind of just do whatever he wanted. Destruction, cause as much destruction as he could. I feel like the midfield three that I just mentioned might be able to contain him a little bit better. And therefore, we might have a little bit more control where therefore they might have to kind of chase the game a little bit more. Like we need to make them worry. It can't just be Liverpool's front three is so great that we rely on Liverpool's front three no matter who's playing. It's got to be the midfield have to play a key part. So for me personally, that midfield three, whether De Bruyne is there or not, has to be Fabinho, Naby Keita, and Thiago.
Do you agree with that, Drift?
Shall I talk about the Naby stuff now?
Yeah.
Things that we're in. First of all, I don't think it changes. To answer your actual question, I don't think it changes anything to do with City with regards to De Bruyne. Absolutely bossed that game the other day, and he's a big loss for City. We can't deny that at all. But I'll be frank. When you can play Grealish there, or play Foden there and play Grealish out wide, or bring Mahrez in, or whatever it is, it actually doesn't make them weaker, even though De Bruyne is a brilliant player. Because we all know Grealish or Foden are more than capable of stepping in and playing that role the way De Bruyne does. They just are. Even if it's to a slightly lower level, they're still fully capable of doing it. So I think the Kyle Walker one is probably a bit more detrimental to the way they're going to set up. But the De Bruyne one, I think they can find ways to fill that gap. And as I said, I think they're just playing possum with us. I think De Bruyne is fit, but I think Walker's probably the one that won't be. And I just think they're trying to do the mind games with us. So Klopp doesn't know what to do about whether De Bruyne is playing, because Klopp would obviously think about De Bruyne in his team selection and his tactics. So I think Pep is trying his hardest to wait as long as possible to throw us off on that one. And then De Bruyne would just play and it'd be like, oh, shit. But on this Naby thing now, so I'm not going to tell you guys where I saw it or what pundits it was talking about it, because it's going to sway your opinion on whether to take it serious or not, because you may not like the pundit or the pundits that were talking about it. But Champions they showed... Game, yeah? No, well, it was a few games. So basically, it was Naby's last 3 games that he played in, right? Mm-hmm. I can't remember what the game was before the Man City game that he played in. But anyway, it was his last 3 games, right? And I don't know whether I should take it as gospel because I've never seen it broken down like this before, or whether I should be like, oh, well, that could just be like of recent, or it could just be a coincidence or whatever. But if I'm being honest with you, it showed that Naby is actually very unintelligent in the way that he presses. And it could have something to do with why Klopp doesn't like playing him. So basically what they showed is he's very individual and very gung-ho with his press. And he always leaves his midfield exposed to go and do what he thinks is right by pressing the ball. But he's not pressing as a team, he's pressing as an individual, and it leaves massive gaps in the midfield. And when they showed the way he left the gaps against Man City and against Benfica, especially, it really freaked me out, because it was one of the main reasons why a lot of the time their midfield was able to create such an easy option of a midfielder on his own to create that through ball. So he would go and do the press, but a lot of the time he was pressing the defender. So as long as the defender sees him coming, no, but you got to take this as what it is, bro. Like, it can't
no, of course.
This, bro.
No, it's not. But it's not. I'm listening. I haven't said a word. I'm just listening.
So, no. But I'm just saying, just in case you think, because you know it's not agenda driven. Because
I'm listening. That's what I'm saying. I'm listening. Yeah, go on.
So he would press the centre back, bro. Yeah, thinking it's the right thing to do, but because the team doesn't come with him, he leaves a massive gap in the middle of the field that allows a pass to be played into midfield quick. That midfielder has then got an extra 2-3 seconds to be able to turn and pick a pass, because now there's nobody in the position Naby is vacated, and it allows the slip through ball to constantly be on. And against City especially, it happened a lot. Like there was 3 or 4 instances that they showed where he did it, and then in the Benfica game again. So for me, I'm thinking about that, and I'm thinking, could this even be one of the reasons why we're like, why isn't Klopp playing Naby? But it ain't even his ability. It's how he messes up the system by not understanding where and when to press, and not having what I would call pressing intelligence. And do you know what? It kind of freaks me out a little bit. It does freak me out a little bit, and I don't think it can be ignored. It might not have been every game he's played in. Like I said, I'm not going to go stupid like that. But I'm taking a very large sample size of our 2 most important games of this season, arguably, which is qualifying for a semi-final of the Champions League and the title game against Man City. And he wasn't intelligent in the press, and it left us exposed a lot. And I think it was either 1 or 2 of the Benfica goals also came from him vacating, doing that, leaving space, and then being allowed to turn in the middle and play the through ball. When you're playing against a team like a Burnley or a Norwich or one of them teams, you'll probably never even have to worry, because their players might not even be good on the ball to exploit the space if it's left anyway. But if you're playing elite level opposition and Champions League and all that, that might be why Naby never gets the shout a lot of the time, unless he has to, because there's no one else. But if we've noticed a lot of the time when there is a choice and Naby isn't the choice, that might be because when they analyse the games afterwards, maybe the team and Klopp see that this is where Naby's downfall is. It's not when we've got the ball, it's when we don't have the ball. where Naby becomes a little bit of a liability, so to speak. So I don't know what you lot take from that, but it kind of freaked me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie when I watched it.
You want to go first, Carl? Do you want me to go first?
I think you should.
You sure? All right,
Yeah.
cool. All right, so when it comes to Naby Keita's pressing, I think he's one of the best we have in our midfield. Of course, there's going to be moments where he might try to press and no one follows him. I'll give an example of someone else that does it. Jordan Henderson. This ain't a comparison, or this is not like, oh, what you said, this is about Henderson. But I'll give an example. There's been many times this season. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me on this particular point, what I'm about to say. There's so many games this season I've seen personally where it doesn't matter what the combination of the three is, but Henderson will do the press and he'll run and close down the goalkeeper and leave a massive... It'll vacate the space. I've seen it numerous times this season. Put 1 in the chat if you've seen Jordan Henderson do a press by himself, yeah, close down the goalkeeper, and that space where he's vacated is left open. The reason I want to bring that, no, but let me land you. If I let you land,
no, I'm gonna let you land.
To the whole,
but
bro,
like,
bro, you gotta let me land, bro. Come on, I'll let you land. This is me asking people. Secondly, the reason why I brought it up is this, because that happens in football. Now, I'm not discrediting Henderson for doing that. What it is, though, is that sometimes when he's done it, no one else has joined in with him. But there's also been times where he presses, and for no reason, why are you pressing? If Naby Keita does it, it's a big issue. But there's other players that do it, but it doesn't get scrutinized enough. So when the pundits, in my opinion, want to say they want to focus on like Naby Keita's pressing, that's fine. But we've got to keep that same energy for other people, because there's many a times this season, like I've said, no, that's fine. There's many times this season where I've seen like Henderson, why are you just running? Imagine this, we've lost the ball, Henderson's running to the goalkeeper, and I'm thinking, bro, no one else is pressing with you. So why are you doing that? Literally, why are you doing that? Why? Because you're the captain. And again, this is like another thing where, in my opinion, I feel like there's 2 number 8s in for Liverpool. One has had an amazing Liverpool career. The other one's had a stop-start, but maybe you're starting to see a bit more what he's about. The midfielder, that's the captain right now, in my opinion, has played tremendously well up until now, in my opinion, or even last season, where you can kind of see the athleticism on the wane, and even just things that he does, like from a tactical point of view, is a little bit like inept in it. But still, you'll be picked. Naby Keita, in my opinion, again, and I know we had this discussion, like I think he's had a slightly better season than Henderson, and I feel like, in my opinion as well, he's done things as a team better. Like he's progressed with the team defensively. Like people will say, "Oh, Naby Keita's pace." Yeah, that might be true, but when we can't sit here and say Henderson is blistering with pace as well. They've both done things that have done very well, and they've both done things that haven't been so great. However, when you deep it, in my opinion, the stuff that Naby Keita gets like scrutinized for, I feel like Henderson kind of does it on a regular. But because he's the captain, no one don't say nothing. It might be a small sample size. Because you see how you said the media will not bring out Henderson for his lack of tactical ineptness when it comes to his pressing and his performances, but then they'll slew Naby Keita because he was the one that for the last 2 to 3 years has been injured and has done the same things at Henderson, but all of a sudden now it's a major issue because it's Naby Keita. But when you actually deep it and you look at some of the games that we played this season, and when we control games at our best, in my opinion, Naby Keita has, for me, had a better season than Jordan Henderson in terms of what they've both brought to the table and where they are right now. Not before. Before, I can't have that argument. Before, I'd have to sit there and go, Henderson's been there, and look at some of the games that he's playing. Like, look at the performances. But you see, this season, I'm gonna be honest. Just looking at it, I said to Cal earlier on today, he's still the captain. He's still the guy. but it can't be an automatic starter because you've got the armband. Like, I've got to look at performances, what you're offering. You can't go Stamford Bridge, and then when man puts you under pressure, you're hoofing the ball because you don't know what to do. You're the captain. Lead by example. Set pace, set tempo. You're not doing that. But if Naby Keita doesn't do that and he comes onto the pitch, so to speak, and he's got 20 minutes to change the game, people want to write and chat about him. It's like, come on, we've got to have that same energy. This is captain that we were rightly lauding, by the way. This is the captain that put everything into our Champions League run and won us the Prem. But then have that same energy when he doesn't play well. Drift, you said it yourself earlier in the season. There was a point where you were like, I'm not gonna lie, guys, Henderson has been being shocking. But no one in the mainstream media really says anything. Naby Keita has 2 games out of, say, 8 that are bad, and they want to write articles. It's like, come on, man. What's the man supposed to do? He's not a magician. He does what he's told. And there are times when he plays well, a lot of the time. And there's a few times when he doesn't play well. I just think we've got to have that same energy. And I don't like it because I feel like there's this trend in our team where we praise certain people for certain things, but then for others, we don't give them that same energy. I don't know if you don't agree with that.
Can I just go before? I know you've been silent for a long time, Cal, but can I just
Go for it. Go for it.
Go for it.
And obviously, you know, I'm not being shady because obviously you're my boy, but I can't lie, bro. You made that about Henderson rather than the point I made about Naby. That was a full, like, Henderson weren't even in the conversation. You just made that whole thing about Henderson. So what I will say about that
I'm not going to say a word.
They showed an example of when we press together. And that thing you're saying about Henderson going, it is true. But bro, when Henderson does that, you will always notice one of the wingers or the striker fill in and it doesn't leave a hole. Whereas Naby does it and leaves a hole. So what I'm saying is the Henderson press looks more tactical, as in, like, the instruction is, guys, pay attention to what Henderson does. And then everybody knows that's the instruction to what their job is. Whereas it looks more like Naby kind of like instinctively thinks, oh, let me go and get the ball back, which isn't a bad thing in terms of like what he's thinking, but he's not doing it tactically. And he's the only one who does it, which is why the space is left. So I'm just saying, when Henderson does it, it isn't chicken head, just running, headless chicken running around kind of thing. Nah, well, they showed an example of Henderson doing what you're saying, but people filling in because I think that's tactical. Whether it's because he's a captain or not, it's he's leading the press. Everybody knows, oh, look, that's the moment to go. Naby's not doing it in that way. He's doing it like he's on his own wavelength kind of thing. So I'm not saying that what you're saying is rubbish or anything, but you kind of made that all about Henderson, and I'm just more thinking
giving an
about
example
Naby.
as to the different agendas.
There was no need to bring Hendo into it.
No. Do you know what I
we're
mean?
talking about Naby.
No, you're talking about Naby, but again, the reason I've done that, and I'm not accusing you because you're bringing a valid point. I'm just saying what I don't like is there'll be agendas with certain players, bro. And for me, that's an agenda. What you just said there, I think that's a media agenda. All jokes aside, like, bro, you're dissecting a man that people want to say hardly plays, but then when he has a bad game, you want to talk about his apparently his aimless pressing, but the captain of Liverpool does it so many times, and no one not saying that. No one's got nothing to say. But the man that hardly ever plays, and when he plays well, but they're waiting for him not to play well, so bring up those clips. So what you're saying, Drift, is not even wrong. I never got a problem with what you're saying, bro. What I'm saying is that for me, that same energy is not there for certain players. And again, it's ain't even aimed at you again, bro. It's more about the scapegoat. Remember how we always say, like, Divock Origi is a scapegoat. Firmino can be a scapegoat at times. I genuinely feel like Naby Keita is actually a scapegoat. And some of it is actually a little bit his own fault because he hasn't been fit and whatnot. But when he plays well, bro, he don't get the praise. But when he doesn't play well, people want to look at the little things or bring up these things that apparently have always been there, but they're major issues. But they're people that are doing it right now. Bro, let's be real for 1 second, yeah? If we're talking about the pressing thing, should we even be talking about like James Milner? Like, there's so Curtis Jones. Are these man better pressers than Naby? Do you guys want to say? So, like, for me, there's agendas out there, and I understand it because it's football, innit? It's part of football. It is what it is, innit? But I'm not just defending Naby Keita because I'm a big fan of him. I'm defending him because the scapegoating is kind of nuts, though. Like, we've got a player that's playing well this season, Drift. You know that. You've even said yourself, like, it's one of his better seasons. But yet we're looking at certain games where, as you said, like he's left the massive gap with the pressing. But Henderson's been doing it, in my opinion, bro, all season. Because he's probably played more games, so you're gonna see more of a larger sample size in it. But they won't clip that up on BT. Want to know why, fam? England through and through. And he's one of England's like senior captains as well, bro. Like I don't like
it wasn't BT, by the way, bro. I saw it.
No, but whether it's BT, Sky Sports, it don't matter, bro. I'm just giving you the channels in it. I'm just saying I don't like the scapegoating, because what I do not understand is Naby Keita, in my opinion, for the most part of this season, has played very well. Of course, we're gonna find clips, bro. We can find clips on anybody that's been probably pressed by themselves, yeah, and the other team aren't following, yeah. But I find it kind of mad that they want to bring up Naby Keita when Henderson's under a little bit of pressure for once in his career. They wanna go and look at next man that's actually performing. Because I'm gonna be honest, bro, fully honest. People could disagree with me all they like. This season, Naby Keita, in my opinion, has had a better season than Jordan Henderson. For me, he showed more quality than Jordan Henderson. But I'll leave it there.
And Cal, you could totally have the floor after this because we're taking liberties because you ain't said nothing. One thing I will say though is I was watching the Kante performance against Real Madrid, and a lot of Chelsea fans are really annoyed at him because he was dwelling on the ball when he got caught, and that they blame him for the goals kind of thing. And there's like a big discussion in their fan base now about whether Kante's legs are going and all that kind of stuff. So even though I really dislike the like hoofballing and the hot potato thing, so don't get me wrong, I do get annoyed when Henderson does that. If I'm being frank with you though, I think he's just being a bit more intelligent than what Kante was, say, for example, in that scenario of like, if I hoof the ball up the field, it isn't the greatest thing in the world, but I'm not putting my team literally under direct pressure by trying to do something as close to goal as I am and losing it. And then the team are straight in on our goal. Case in point, like what Kante was doing, why the Chelsea fans are annoyed, where I've actually heard them say, I just wish he just kicked it out and we regroup. Why is he like dwelling on the ball and then he loses it? So sometimes we might think, the fuck, man, Henderson, rare. But would you rather he tried to control the ball, get tackled, and then they're only 30 yards from goal? Because to be honest, we'd be on his back for that as well. So that's just a point I want to make on the like Henderson when he like just hoofs the ball up the field. I don't like it, but I get it's better away from danger and they've got possession still than losing it that close to goal. That's all I say.
Just quickly. Last thing I'm going to say, and Carl, you're going to jump in and say what you want to say. I understand your point in the hoofball in terms of, yes, there are times when you've got to hoof it. Let's be real. It can't always be keep the ball on the ground. Even Pep Guardiola's teams, there are times when I've seen Laporte smash the ball. I'm like, they would never do that. But you learn, innit? But bro, I'm going to be honest. There are times when you need to hoof the ball and when you don't hoof the ball. And in my opinion, when it comes to the pressing team, if there's one thing, when you say like deficiencies, you might say, for example, our Naby Keita is not as like athletic as I thought he was. So athletically, that's a deficiency for you. You might be like, if people run at him, he might be in a bit of trouble. And I might be like, yeah, that's kind of true, For me, bro, when Henderson gets pressed, he panics and he doesn't know what to do. So like he'll be like, do I lay it off? Like, do I play it back? And he hoofs the ball in it. You're the captain. If you're being pressured and you're being put under pressure, you're supposed to answer. Your answer is supposed to reflect the rest of the team. If you're going to start hoofing ball, what do you think next man's going to do? Well, if the captain's doing it, I ain't getting told off, innit? Like, I'm getting rid of it. Bro, you're supposed to set an example. You are supposed to be the guy that drives the team forward. Now, we know you're not Steven Gerrard, but what it is, though, bro, is like, you don't necessarily have to hoof it. Even if you have to play it safe. Gini Wijnaldum is a prime example, bro. Gini Wijnaldum, under pressure, yeah? Let me tell you something about Gini. Gini had the ability and the know-how when to hold on to the ball, when to release it, when to play it safe. And do you want to know something, Driv? Our fan base would have a go at him and be like, something, he plays it too safe. Well, do you want to know something? Playing it safe actually works sometimes. But, bro, there are times that Henderson can play it safe. He won't even play it safe. Man is hoofing the ball like he doesn't know what the thing is. Man threw at him. Man's hoofing the ball like
Only
man
2
throwing
games
it.
he did that, by the way.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest, man. He's kicking the ball like he's like, what is this an infinity stone or a football? Bro, I'm just giving you how I see it. There are times when he does that. You've even said it. It's like, bro, Henderson, why would you do that? You're forgetting when you're in the game and watching the game, and I've seen you many a times, but when we watch the game, you many times you kept on saying, bro, why is Henderson doing that? Like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm
now
not
I'm
gonna
looking
lie,
at it in
man.
hindsight. That's what I'm saying. And I'm looking
And
at
this is what
Chelsea
I'm
fans
trying to
being
say,
annoyed with
bro.
Kante. And I'm saying, well, maybe what he's doing isn't that bad because it's better that than he gets tackled
No,
30
but
yards
can I
from
say
goal and then
something?
they're in on goal. So in hindsight, it's easier to analyze, isn't it?
Kante has limitations as well. He's not a great passer like that. And remember, what Chelsea want and what we want are two different things. We're not Chelsea. If they want Kante to use the ball, that's up to them. I'm not Chelsea. I'm Liverpool. So I want my team to be technically adept in it. So it's a thing where it's like if you're under pressure, play it smart. If it means you got to play it back, play it back. You think a Guardiola team under pressure just gonna smash the ball out because they're being put under pressure, bro? There's times when you got to play. You can play it back if you need to. That's fine. No one's gonna scream at you for that. But don't just hoof the ball up and you're expecting something to happen.
It's not that easy when you're under pressure, bro. Anyway,
No,
Cal, I need to know what you got to say. And thank you for your patience there, bro.
I agree with points from both sides, but I disagree with points from both sides. When it comes to Naby, I do think there is a media agenda against him. I think Henderson gets away with a lot. I also think Milner gets away with a lot. I'm not just going to speak about Henderson. I think there are a lot of excuses for Henderson that aren't made for Naby. But at the same time, Naby, for me, hasn't pulled up any trees either. The problem for me is we're having this debate. For me, it's clear as day. We need someone to come in and be a starter ahead of these two players. For me, it shouldn't be a debate between these two players. It should be, okay, one of these players is a backup for this player and one of these players is a backup for that player. Henderson should be a backup for the right centre midfielder. Naby should be a backup for Thiago. But they are starting because we don't have enough quality in depth in that position. If I look at this game, and what I find hard is with the pressing thing as well, I think Naby is a better presser of the ball than Hendo. Hendo's not rubbish, but I still, and I've said this before, I don't think Naby's amazing at pressing. I think he's just better than Henderson. When we speak about the press, you can look at it two ways. You can look at it as Naby's going and being a lone soldier and pressing and no one's following him. Or you could look at it as that Naby started the press and no one's following him when they should be taking example from that. Again, even basic five-a-side, if I'm starting a press and then I look behind me and no one else is pressing, that's not on me. I'm doing my job. I'm isolating players and trying to trap them into situations where they're now having to make rash decisions and someone should be behind me, backing me up if I'm one of the higher men doing that. Hendo does the exact same as Naby. He'll press sometimes and sometimes we'll win the ball back and sometimes we won't. Same with Naby. This instance, Naby pressed and we didn't win the ball back. In terms of Hendo hoofing the ball, I personally don't think there's any excuse for it. The example of using Kante in the situation of dwelling, I think can be countered by you just make the simple pass, whether you pass back to goalkeeper or you pass back to centre back. Instead of dwelling on the ball and looking for a forward pass all the time, sometimes you slow the game down and look for the easier pass and then you reset. Henderson puts us in way more jeopardy by just hoofing the ball up the pitch, because all it does is mean that we are now having to burn energy chasing a team who now have possession, trying to win it back and then trying to start attacks from it. Whereas Hendo just keeps the ball, plays it simple to the nearest person, pays a little 1-2 and then pops it back to the goalkeeper or centre back. We can reset while we've got the ball and we're not burning needless energy. Plus Hendo doing that, it sets a bad example. And this is not even him being captain. It sets a bad example because in midfield, or if I'm anywhere on the pitch, and this is me speaking as a midfielder or someone who's not played in midfield, my midfield are meant to be the ones who dictate and hold on to the ball more than any other position on the pitch. So if Henderson is aimlessly kicking the ball in the air or hoofing it when he doesn't need to be, it makes me worried as a player, because I'm thinking, if you can't even hang on to the ball, then when am I going to make a run? What run do I make? Do I have to drop deeper now to try and relieve some of the pressure on him? That means I'm not playing my game. So Henderson doing that is probably the worst thing you can do in midfield, especially when you're doing it. So that's just me. But I do think we should move on. Who are we, guys? Who are we starting in this game? What would your starting 11 be, Drift?
I'd probably go with the exact same team that played against them in the league, but I would put Mane down the middle and bring in Diaz.
Okay, so just to confirm then. So Ali, Trent, Matip, Virgil, and Robbo.
Yeah.
Flacco, Hendo, Thiago.
Yeah.
Salah, Mane, and Diaz.
Yeah, that would be my...
Matt, what about yourself?
I go Ali, Trent, Virgil. I go Ibu, Robbo, Fabinho, Thiago, Naby, Salah, Mane, and Diaz.
Okay, for me, I'd go Trent. I'm gonna say Ibu because Matip played the 90 minutes. Although so did Ibu, to be fair, but Ibu's younger and hasn't had the injury issues that Matip has had. And I think we'll definitely need Matip against Man United as well. No, in fact, you know what? Scrap that. I'm going Matip, and I'm gonna play Ibu against Man United. I'm going Matip. I was just
gonna say he's the one who batted them up last time.
I'm going Matip and Virgil and Robbo. I'm going Flacco, Keita, and Thiago. And I'm going Diaz, Salah. And I'm umming and ahhing between Firmino and Mane this game. And the reason I am is because if Mane plays, I think we have more of a goal threat. I think if Bobby plays, we can nullify the passing range and the dictating of play from Rodri. But if I have to put my hand out, there and give a name, I'm gonna go Mane because I think Mane can give Rodri a tough time, but gives you that goal threat. Not as tough as Bobby, but I think he gives you more of a goal threat. So I'm gonna go Mane through the middle.
On Matip, just quickly, and obviously this isn't me doubting his ability, but every team has their kryptonite. I've noticed that Matip is a little worrying against City. He doesn't generally play as brilliant as he does in other games. I don't know if it's the intricacy of their midfielders or if they're constantly got men running off of him and he's not that quick. Maybe Ibu wouldn't be the worst thing in the world against them, just to see if he's a little bit better equipped at dealing with the pace and the movement in comparison to Matip. I don't know what you lot think, but I think the last two games Matip played against City, he was a little worrying in how he was like dealing with the half space and the runs in behind. And I don't know. I mean, he could have just had a bad game and it could be a coincidence, but 2 games against the same opposition feels like there could be more to it than that. I don't know what you lot think.
I personally haven't got worried. For me, it was more a case of the whole team didn't really turn up in the first. I thought Matip was excellent in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Matip played better in the second, but I kind of understand what you're saying. Against Man City, I do feel like there's times that Matip isn't at his absolute best. Now, I know what you're saying in terms of, the first half we didn't play well as a team. That's correct. And I remember I kind of was trying to champion him in the second half. But then when I watched the game back, I was like, Virgil had a better game. So I remember I was trying to say before, like, no, Matip had a sick game. Just that Matip had a very good second half. But in terms of Matip, it's mad because Man City are always thinking. They're a thinking team where they're always thinking, like, how can we open up the opponent in it? And it's like Matip, you would think is best for that game. But then there are times when even Klopp was surprised. And if you saw his not press conference, but like his interview after the game, he was quite surprised the amount of times Man City played the ball in behind. Like he wasn't expecting it. I don't know if you saw it. He was like, the way Man City play, yes, very surprised how they play the ball in behind. And I was like, okay, so you wasn't expecting that. That's why maybe you played Matt. Whereas maybe if you was expecting that, you might have played someone with the recovery pace of a Gomez or a Ibu, where they can kind of counter that. That's what makes me feel like he might play Ibu in this game, even though I understand why you lot didn't pick him. Is because if Pep does that same thing where the ball in behind was played a lot more frequently, I generally feel like he might play Ibu because we know Ibu is obviously faster on the turn. It's just that I think Matip is more intelligent defender, being older, being more experienced. So it's going to be interesting to see. Very interesting.
Fair dues. All right, guys, before we go into score predictions, don't forget to check out our sponsors for this show, FansBet. Guys, they've got some great odds on tomorrow's games, not just for ours, but for all the games. And they have got a fantastic welcome offer if you are not signed up with FansBet already. Register, bet £10 and get £30 free, plus 10 free spins on registration. You must be over 18 to play. Please do visit begambleaware.org if you have any more questions about betting, etc. But this is a great offer to get introduced to FansBet. Not only that, you can choose to support a cause that is something that we really believe in on this channel, and FansBet is the company to do that with. So make sure you click the link in the description of this video on YouTube and go and check out FansBet. Right, guys, what's the score prediction? Matt, I'll start with you.
Knowing how we play, 1-1, extra time, then penalty. Can this go extra time or does it go straight to penalties?
Yeah. No, penalty.
I'm going 1-1, extra time, and then penalties. We win on penalties.
Drift.
Liverpool win on penalties.
I'm going 2-1 normal time.
I like the confidence.
Something's got to happen this game.
Something's got to give.
Something's got to give, which makes it a little bit more scary in terms
Something's got to give.
It can't be like, oh, well, nobody loses outcome. This one's like, no, somebody has to lose, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, Kate. Do you know what it is as well?
He's going to play, Matt. He's going to play. Don't let them fool you, man.
No. I'm not even saying it, but let's just... They played a hard... They played a hard game against Atletico. Remember, them man were getting pulled hair in that carnival setting or whatever. Man getting drapes on the floor and all them things there. Like, it was mad. Let's say he does play KDB. I'm not expecting Walker to play, but let's just say KDB does play. I still feel like it won't be 100% KDB. We kind of already know that where he does play. As you both have alluded to, something's got to give. It's got to be the game, maybe, where KDB is not fully on it. Because I'm going to be real. Out of all the quality players they have, KDB is always the one that says, oh, we're playing against Liverpool, yeah? All right, cool. Give me the ball and let me show you what I can do. Fami flipping annoys me. I respect him so highly because he's so sick. But he annoys me, bro. Because he's sick. KDB loves playing against Liverpool.
Both his goals were deflected, which really is annoying as
well.
No,
I know. Bro, KDB's... I'm going to be honest, and I think people would fully agree with me on this one. There can be no debate on this. If there was one player that you could pick from Man City, I think it will be KDB. And I'm going to be honest, if you take KDB out of Man City, I think we wrap up the league every single damn year. I'm not joking. For me, he's the difference maker. Don't get me wrong, they got Bernardo's and they got whoever. But KDB for me, bro, if you put him in that Liverpool midfield, could you imagine? I'll give man an example. Fabinho, Thiago, KDB.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Fabinho, KDB, Hendo. Like, it's different. Hendo, Thiago, KDB. Henderson playing the 6. But I'm telling you from now, KDB's in our midfield. It's like when people say, even to this day, oh, if only Gerrard was in the midfield of now. Obviously KDB's not Gerrard, but it's that special midfielder that I think we lack. Like that special one. Thiago's special, but in terms of I don't even want to say this, but in terms of really putting the hammer down and just being like, you know what? We're going to make sure, man, you ain't getting out of this situation. We're missing that one player, that one extra world-class player. I'm telling you, KDB's at Liverpool, Man City aren't even Man City. You could replace him with anybody. Put Tchouaméni in Man City, they ain't the same. Put Bellingham in Man City, they ain't the same. Give us KDB, nobody is talking to us. I'm telling you, KDB.
Although, bro, what
Yeah.
you're saying, there's nothing false about what you're saying, but they did win the league when KDB missed like 80% of it. So they have done it without him before.
That was when we were not.
But that's when we were pants, though.
No, but the point I'm making is that they still coped very well without him because they won the league. So I'm just saying.
No, but you know what? I hear what you're saying, but you know what it is though. When it's all said and done, a lot of people will probably might agree with this. Shall I say? The engine room is the one that needs a bit of tweaking. And could you imagine KDB in the engine room
alongside it would be ridiculous.
Alongside Thiago and Fabinho? Like I'm sorry. Ridiculous. Like there's. I'm gonna be honest. Thiago, Fabinho, and KDB is the best midfield three in world football. No combination comes close. We are missing KDB. That's how bad it is.
Lee says, just popping in to wish you lads a happy Easter weekend. Hope you guys are well. Big up to yourself.
Big up, bro. I think.
Hey, you know what, Lee? Congratulations on your semi-final as well, man. I hope you lot go and win that tournament now, bro.
Trust me.
Edward says, Keita played a full 90 versus Benfica. Doubt he starts. I don't think that should make a difference personally, but it might do. Jeannie says, when's the last time we scored from outside the box? I feel like we're due a goal like that.
No one shoots, though. That's the problem.
Off the top of my head, is Trent against Newcastle? If I'm going to be pushed for an answer, I think. When he scored a possibly against Newcastle.
There's only been maybe 4 or 5 occasions this year, and they've all been Henderson, ironically.
Messi FC says, Matt, y'all killing me with this. Speaking about Naby and Hendo, Zotta agreed when Matt was speaking about Naby. And Math says, are we going to act like Thiago, Hendo both pressed alone on different occasions at City? Is easy. It is an instruction by Klopp. It works sometimes. Yeah, I think so.
I think you lot need to see the footage of how it looks a lot more like it's just Naby being an individual rather than a team thing. And again, I don't want to go back into it because we spent too long on it, and I feel like it still got fully deflected away from Naby, and it started to end up being about Henderson when it was supposed to be like, is that why Naby doesn't play? But hey, well, let's not go over it again because we talked about that for a good 20 minutes. So,
sorry,
So there, boy, it's going to be interesting, people. I'm very, very excited and anxious at the same time. You know what I mean?
Agreed. Agreed. You know, it's so magic because the games are so thick and fast now, and it's like tomorrow we got them again. So let's see what happens, boys, innit? But I'm confident, but not cocky. So that's why, I think it'll be penalties. I think we'll edge it, but let's see what happens, innit?
Can I tell you what worries me the most before we go? I don't want anything to derail our momentum and our confidence. And I think that's what worries me about being knocked out of a cup when we've done so well and haven't been knocked out of one so far. It would just make me a bit apprehensive about whether it will affect the mood. Because, you got the momentum is key at this point in the season, isn't it? So I just hope that something doesn't knock the momentum. That's all that I think that's what I'm worried about more than anything, because I would take being knocked out the FA Cup if I knew one of the big ones was coming. I just take it right now. I know the quad and the treble sound so great, but I think we've got too caught up in that, which is why I didn't want to talk about it in the first place. I just want one of the big ones. Winning a quad or a treble would be amazing, but at the end of the day, that's bonuses on top. Like, it's just capture one of the big ones. That is what is important, that we get one of those big ones and we make sure we have a real parade at the end of the year. So I'm just a little worried being knocked out of the cup could just affect the momentum. I think that's a little bit more what I'm more apprehensive about than anything, but yeah.
It's the risk we're in, it's the position.
Yeah. Tomorrow's the day. Tomorrow's D-Day, man.
Tomorrow's D-Day, people, we are going to be back tomorrow for that game, doing the live watch along. So make sure you join us for around 3:10. Games at 3:30 UK time. So make sure you join us around 3:10. We'll be speaking about the lineup, the build up for the game as well, and we'll be doing a live watch along. Then obviously we'll chop up after we go through into the final of the FA Cup as well. So, plenty of content to look forward to, people. If you haven't already, smash the like button. Make sure you hit the link in the description and go and check out FansBet and make sure you sign up to them as well. And yeah, have a blessed rest of the Easter weekend. Well, have a blessed rest of the Easter Friday.
Indeed. Have a good Friday. Have a good Friday.
Have a good Friday. And then we celebrate tomorrow, guys.
Right. Tomorrow.
We do this. But bless up to everyone who watched. Smash the like button on the way out if you haven't already. Stay safe, stay blessed. We are Kop-Ish and we are out.
This fam. Get them that.